Man, I really want to go to places like this. Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, nice. 33 truly astounding okay, 10 unmissable places to visit in Japan. 33 best places to visit in Japan. 10 best places to visit in Japan. 25 best places to visit in Japan. Oh my goodness. Yeah, planning a trip can be difficult, right? Especially if it's in a country where English isn't the first language. But we've been there, we've done that, and we've kind of discovered a good routine for how we plan our trips throughout Japan, and we want to share it with you guys. So as of recently, the state of emergency in Japan has been lifted, which is super awesome, and we're really excited to start planning some local trips around Japan. We do know, however, that international travel still isn't possible at this time, but we hope this gives you guys something to look forward to and maybe some helpful tips for when you guys can come to Japan. So that being said, let's get into the process. We've broken it down into 3 simple steps, and if you follow this process, it's going to help your time planning become much less overwhelming and way more efficient. And stick around to the end of the video because we're going to share with you some bonus tips and resources that we discovered throughout our many trips in Japan. So our 3-step process is
Let's be real, I'm the one who does all the planning. Welcome to the workbench, where I do all the planning of our trips. Okay, as Roy said, there's 3 super simple steps for how we plan our trips in Japan. Number 1, know what your interests are and what season you're traveling to Japan in. Number 2, based on your interests, know what region of Japan would be best for you to travel to. We'll show you how to do this a little bit later. And number 3, once you know this, use information from local tourism boards to plan all the little details. So the first step is know what you're interested in and what season you're coming to Japan in. For example, maybe you love Japanese architecture and traditional Japan, and you love going to shrines. And you're coming in fall and you want to see some beautiful fall foliage. Then maybe you'll go to places like Kyoto or central Japan and see all of these things together. Or maybe you're really like us and you love the outdoors. You love camping, you love hiking, and you're coming to Japan in spring or summer. Maybe then you'll focus your travels in regions in the northern part of Japan like Hokkaido or Tohoku, where there's heaps of countryside and heaps of great camping spots. Okay, and then after that, the second step is you want to decide on what region of Japan is going to be best for you to travel to. And there are some great maps online to show you the regions of Japan. In particular, we would recommend Japan Guide and the official Japan Travel Guide on the internet that have interactive maps that show you what each region of Japan is and what it has to offer. Just as a really quick example, you can look at regions like Hokkaido and Tohoku, which might be really good in the winter time to do winter sports and to see Japan in the snow. Or you might be interested in areas down south like Chugoku or Kyushu, where there's a lot of beautiful scenery and a lot of onsen towns. But if you're a first-time traveler to Japan, or you're kind of unfamiliar with the different regions of Japan, we've actually made an article that we'll link down below. You can read that and see what each part of Japan has to offer. So go to that first if you would like to know. Let's take our example from before. Maybe you are super interested in seeing traditional Japan and you've also decided that you definitely want to see Kyoto. So maybe then a region that you're interested in is Chubu, just above Kyoto. So at this point in the process, Japan Guide and the Japan Travel website are still excellent general resources because you can go into the region and have a look at maybe what you are interested in and what there is to offer. So if we're scrolling through the Chubu region, we can see, maybe Takayama interests me. Maybe Shirakawa-go and these beautiful farm thatched houses interest me. And last one, Kiso Valley. So now we have a kind of general understanding of the region and what things are available in the region that interest us. And another really great thing about these general guides, like Japan Guide that I'm using here, is that at the top of the article about the region, there is a big map about the region. So you can see that just from the places that we have picked out initially, we've got Kyoto, Takayama, Kiso Valley, and all of these are in a general triangle area. So you can already start to get a feel for where you might go on your Japan trip. Alright, so step 3. You've found some general areas that have things that interest you in them, and you've got the names of them as well. Now this is the most important step. I cannot stress that enough. Once you've got a general idea, now you can go in and get information from local tourism boards of those places you're interested in. So, if you're on, for example, the Japan Guide website, and we'll continue our example of Takayama. We're on the Takayama article page, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, then you'll find Japan Guide has put external links, and you can go to the Takayama information from the city. Now this isn't always the case. If we flip over and look at the Kiso Valley Japan Guide article, when you scroll all the way down to the bottom, Japan Guide hasn't actually provided an external link to the Kiso Valley Tourism Board information site. But it's super simple. Just go to Google, you can type in whatever the name of the place is, so Kiso Valley Tourist Information, and straight away the website pops up for you. So the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because these local tourism websites are amazing resources for tours in the area, accommodation, and sightseeing. And quite frankly, if you're doing a really big broad scale search of Japan, you're not going to find these smaller details, and it can be quite overwhelming. Like you saw at the start of the video, there's no limit to how many articles out there that are like 15 best places in Japan to visit. And while these can be really good as well for giving you a general idea of what's in Japan, again, decide on what areas you think are of interest to you, and then use really specific search terms to find those Japanese resources from local cities and tourism boards. And last thing, once you've got all the places you know you want to go, look at the accessibility, maybe get your JR pass, and then find out how you're going to get from A to B, and your trip is done.
Okay, so now you guys know how we plan our trips around Japan. And Aimee has graciously let me know that I am qualified enough to let you guys know the bonus tips and tricks we have for you. So the first tip that we have for you guys is that if you want to stay in a ryokan, just like we did in the wintertime, there's an awesome website called Japanese Guest Houses, and they make it super easy and efficient for non-Japanese speakers to be able to find ryokans in the area that you're going to be traveling and book in. So the second bonus tip that we're going to give you guys is that we're not going to lie to you. The public transport in rural Japan can be pretty terrible or non-existent. So during your broad research of where you want to go in Japan, you're most likely going to be able to reach all of these areas by the Shinkansen or train lines. But if you start to venture off that beaten track and go to more rural areas, we're going to recommend that you hire a car to get around. And for that, we've found two great services that we recommend to you, which is Nico Nico and Nippon Rent-A-Car. And for our third bonus tip, we recommend that you guys go to a Japanese festival. They are just so awesome. And for this, we found a website called Japanistry. It's a great guide for festivals in Japan, and you can use it to filter by areas that you'll be visiting on your trip to Japan. Don't forget to subscribe. We're putting out videos weekly about Japan, and until then, we'll see you in the next one.
Oh, suge, suge. Car companies in Japan are Nico Nico,
Nico Nico, Nico Nico ni.
and
It's an anime reference.
alright.
お疲れ様です。